The fire department comes up, and when they come up, they're just like, um, I tell them what happened or whatever. They're like, oh, it's some little smoke. We'll put out a smoke fire. Da da da. Y'all, the fire truck went from 1 to 4 fire trucks. So again, I was just like, I just finished therapy. Let's go home. Let's get some rest. And then we'll see how the rest of the day plays out. I was like, I'll go back to the store later. Again, I am just overwhelmed emotionally. I think the time I got home, I laid out on the couch and I just stared. Like, I was in the dark. Is that when 13 Reasons Why was out? I think so. I think 13 Reasons Why was out then. And that's really the state that I was in. I was literally laid out on the couch crying from the time I laid my head down on the pillow on the couch, crying, watching 13 Reasons Why in this depressive hole. And I blink, and it's like 4 or 5 hours later. I was just like, okay. Oh, I need to cook. Let me get ready to cook. Because I'm starting to get hungry at this point. Even though at this time I kind of really didn't have an appetite, I knew I needed to eat. So I was like, let me get ready to make my salmon. And I was making it in a cast iron skillet. God was telling me at that moment, don't cook. Don't cook. Don't cook. But I was not listening. I was so out of it. What did I decide to do? Sis decided to cook. With that being said, you know how sometimes you may leave previous grease in a cast iron? I needed to get rid of it and clean the cast iron out. So what I was doing was, since the grease was cool, to warm it up a bit so I can get rid of it. And so it won't be so, thick. Warming up just a little bit, not enough to like burn through things, but just, to warm it up, to loosen it, and to toss it. Sis puts the skillet on the eye and then remembers, hey, you didn't get lemons from earlier. You still got to go back to the store. Sis drives off. Sis is me. I drive off. I get to the store. Thank goodness the store is literally like 5 minutes from me. If not, this could have been a lot worse. I go to the store. I get the bag of lemons and I grab something else because I knew I only needed 2 things. So I grab those things. I check out, self-checkout. I drive home. I am at the traffic light at the corner of my house and I'm just like, oh, I left the cast iron on the stove. Now, before I left, I was watching the show The Game with Tia Mowry and Pooch Hall, and yeah. So my TV was still on. I left the TV on when I left to go to the store. Needless to say, when I got back, I couldn't see a thing. I could hear things, but I couldn't see a thing. It was pitch black in my house. It was smoking that bad. I called 911. I tried to get in the house, but it was so thick. So thick. This house. Tried to come through that door right there. The smoke was so thick. I couldn't even see the TV. I could hear the TV, but I couldn't see the TV. I called 911. I am freaking out at this point. When the fire department, and they are literally right at the corner of where the stoplight was, that's where the fire department was. So everything is like right here with me. The fire department comes up, and when they come up, they're just like, I tell them what happened or whatever. They're like, oh, it's some little smoke. We'll put out a smoke fire, da-da-da. Y'all, the fire truck went from 1 to 4 fire trucks in my neighborhood. When I tell you, the whole neighborhood was like, what is going on? In my head, I'm freaking out so bad. Like, oh, what is going on? I didn't burn my house down. 4 fire trucks. Kid you not. I'm calling my mom to tell her what happened. I am crying. I had like 1 or 2 set of neighbors, I think 2, to actually check up on me. Everybody else was just in gawking awe. Didn't say nothing or anything. Like, so the fire captain comes up to me, and I will never forget this. And he's just like, can I talk to you for a minute? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, come over here and talk to me. It's like, cool. He was like, here I come thinking this gonna be something easy peasy. A little bit of smoke to put out. No, ain't nothing. He said, ma'am, your whole downstairs is gone. He said, that was a fire. That was a fire. He said, what happened? So then I let him know what happened and stuff. Ooh, y'all. Needless to say, thank God for house insurance. I was put up in a hotel. When I tell you my downstairs was gone, my downstairs was gone. The smoke was reaching the top floor, and everything was coated in soot. Everything was coated in soot. But my whole downstairs was completely gone. Like, it was a fire. My cabinets I had up were gone. The cabinets, I guess before they completely disintegrated, the top ones completely disintegrated, they fell and smashed and caved in the countertop below them. Y'all, I ain't gonna say a time was had, but baby, that fire had a time, okay? So they put me up in a hotel, not a hospital. That was my 13th reason why. They put me up in a hotel for about a week, and because of the panini coming through, they were just like, you need to be somewhere. I couldn't stay at the hotel. They were like, you need to be somewhere where you have a kitchen and accessibilities, because you can't get that at the hotel, and we can't take care of you like that here. So I was like, okay. So then I had to I basically found an Airbnb. I had to rent it out. I think I was March, April, May, June, July. I was out. I got back in my house back in August. So I was there for about 5 months almost. Every day going back and forth, checking on the house, dealing with contractors, all of this during the panani. checking on the contractors, checking on this, checking on that, searching for paint, searching for furniture, crying over the grief of devastation of realizing I've lost certain things along the way. Like, I had a poetry book that I had since high school, gone. Photo albums, gone. Books that I had, because I had a bookshelf and everything with books on, gone. Gone. Nothing could be salvaged in the downstairs of my house. Nothing was salvaged. So over time, I'm just like, okay, I gotta find some peace of mind. I gotta get my mind together. Of course, everything is shut down. So if you can't go to Bella Noches, where else can you go? Can't go to no gym or anything like that at this time. So I was like, okay, let me start doing yoga and stuff while I'm here. I started to notice that as I was trying to do yoga and things on the floor and try to find my peace and stuff, or even just doing certain workouts, I am heavy to myself now. I can't jump like I used to. I had loose natural hair at this time. My hair was like down to here. I can't wash my hair no more. Like, it's a struggle to like hold my arms up and wash my hair. I noticed I can't lift my arms as much. I noticed I can't push off the bed as well. When I was doing yoga and I get on the floor and do things, I noticed that as each time that I was on the floor trying to do stuff, I could not get off the floor. At one point, it took me 15 minutes because I am clawing on the furniture, trying to pull myself up. And it was just like, the hell is going on here? It was just like, what? But the thing is, like, I am getting out to a degree. I am being active because I am leaving the house to go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, go to Sherman-Williams, going to all these places to get paint samples, to look at countertops, to look at flooring, to look at all this stuff to put my house together again. So it's not like I was just completely cooped up in my house the entire time. And then, of course, coming here to check on things. So during this time, I noticed as well, like, I can't control my body. I can't control holding pee. I can't control making accidents with myself. And it was just like, body, what is going on? I started seeing a rheumatologist. I went to my gyno and I asked her, what should I do? Because I didn't have a primary at this time. I found this guy that was a primary doctor, and talking to him, he kept insisting that I had Lyme disease. And I'm like, I don't think I have Lyme disease, but okay. So they did blood work and stuff like that. Everything comes back negative. I talked to my gynecologist about it, and she was just like, I'm going to send you to a rheumatologist. So I was like, okay. I see this rheumatologist, and she was not the best experience. I understand that if something is going on, there's, medicine is developing daily. I just don't believe that if a patient is telling you that something is not working and how they feel, please believe them and don't up dosages and things like that. So it was kind of a guessing game. And my thing is, I guess, in the way of how she was presenting, how she was trying to figure out what's wrong with me, which I understand. Again, figure out what's wrong, but I guess don't throw things at me and then say, don't worry about it. Because at one point it was like, oh, you may have MS, or you may have fibromyalgia. You may have, I can't think of what the other thing was. And then I'm like, okay, what are these things? Oh, don't worry about them. Don't worry about them. And I'm not a person to Google symptoms. But now you got me wanting to Google because you didn't name so many things. And now I'm curious as to what they are. And you're telling me not to worry about them and that we're going to fit. So at this time, she diagnoses me with fibromyalgia and gives me Cymbalta. If you remember Cymbalta commercials, I was like, I am a walking ad for Cymbalta. Are you kidding me? At this time, again, I was already barely eating. I lost a lot of weight. I went from 170. No, I think I was I was in between 175, 185. And I was basically back to the 120s. I lost so much weight. She put me on Cymbalta. I thought I was out of it before. Cymbalta didn't help in the slightest. I was alive. I wasn't living. I was a zombie. I slept all day, every day, and would just be in a haze. I tried to make myself eat. I disassociated bad. And it was crazy because when all of this stuff was going on, I already had some things made up in my mind. Because at this time in 2020, I turned 30. And it was a lot of things of my childhood and my upbringing and my growing up to where I was just like, I can't put up with certain things no more. I got to the point to where I was like, I need to start putting boundaries up in my life because it's that time. And all of this situation didn't help, along with those other situations of healing from my past. It was a crap show. So I saw a neurologist and she recommended me to a neurologist. I went to the neurologist and she did a muscle test on me. And with this muscle test, it was to see how my muscles are performing, to see how the nerves are sending signals. And when my body is sending signals to the nerve, is the muscle getting the signal, receiving the signal, and corresponding correctly? That test came back negative as well, meaning that my body was sending my brain was sending my body signals and my body was responding. But for some reason, I could not hold my weight. What I mean by that is it was hard to jump. It was hard to bend. I stopped getting on the floor altogether. Also during this time, I started to get dizzy. I started to get lightheaded. Every time I got up, it was just like, woo, hello. My balance was extremely off. From 2021 to 2022, I was so off balanced. If I fail hard. And especially on my downstairs floor, I have wood. Upstairs, I have carpet. Downstairs, I have wood. I have literally been to the ER more times than I can count because I just, I would trip over myself some way, somehow, and bash my head against the floor. One time I actually gashed my head open and I was so scared. Blood just dripping down my face. I had no one here. I really didn't have help. I ended up having to take myself to the hospital a lot. I ended up having to do a lot of things on my own because I had no one here. N- no one could be with me at every waking moment. And that was tough. That was real tough. And especially at that time, and if you go through something like that, you want someone around that will actually hear you, listen to you, really aid in helping you with your needs, not just what they think they can help you with. Or I say it like this: you ask someone for an apple and instead they give you an orange. And you're like, but I wanted an apple. And they're like, I know you got an orange, but that's not what I needed. But they're like, oh, it's still a fruit. It was a lot of that going on with people at that time. And I understand it's not just me that this event happened to, it happened to those close to me. And it also affecting others close to me. People started seeing me in a new light. People started seeing me in new ways. I got told that, I wish that you were the old you and things like that. Or, oh, you look so frail. You look so fragile. And it was just like, I faced that every single day. Why would you say something to me like that? I see myself every day. It's hard enough to see yourself, let alone for people to say that to you. And again, you're still fighting with doctors trying to figure out what's going on and what's wrong. I say that to say, be kinder to people. And please just do what people ask and not what you think. So I go to other doctors. I'm still going to therapy. I have a psychiatrist at this point. Doctors don't know what's going on. They don't know what's wrong. I've been poked. I've been prodded. I've been to MRIs and all these other things. And my body is to the point it's hard to lift my arms over my head. It's hard for me to sit down in seats and get up. I had a lot of muscle atrophy in my body. A lot of muscle atrophy. I called myself being able to go to a female doctor I thought would be very supportive. And I was shut down a lot by her, to the point of where I thought of suing the hospital, to the point of where I tried to put a claim in on her at the medical board because the hospital would not. I felt so badly treated by her. I got in contact with the hospital and the hospital just kept saying, We back up the doctor. There's nothing we could do. They haven't talked to me. Keep that in mind. They did not call me. They didn't get my side of the story. I tried to tell them the best of what was going on through email. And all they said was, we just side with the doctor. There's nothing we can do. You're supposed to be patient advocates. You're supposed to be at some point of the best interest of the patient. And you just dismiss me like this? You're not hearing what I'm saying and how I feel? All I asked for was all that I asked for at that time was physical therapy. And the doctor tells me I can't get it, then I'll have to get it next time. But I've asked you at every appointment. And you dismiss me. I'm coming in your office hunched over like a 90-year-old woman. And you dismiss me? Oh. I never wanted to fight so bad in my life. If I could sock that lady out, I would. But you know I don't condone no violence. I don't condone no violence. But at that time, this is my health and my livelihood we're playing about. That you're trying to play about. There were so many nights I laid in bed and I asked God to take me. I said, Lord, I can't live like this anymore. And I don't know what my purpose is here on this earth, but it's got to be something because I can't do it anymore. I can't. I was just like, Lord, if I happen to wake up the next day, you got some kind of purpose for me because I just ready for all of it to end. And when I would go to sleep and I woke up the next morning and see a new day, I'd be like, all right, Lord, I'm sticking it out another day. You kept me here. I guess I gotta stick it out. So I've tried to have jobs in between this. My mental capacity just cannot hold. I don't know why at that time. I ended up working from home a lot. And being on jobs that require you to be on the phone, it's already not easy as it is. It's not an easy job. But to have that state of cloudiness of mind, it brought on additional stress that my body was not taking well. At some point, I got diagnosed with dysphagia, which is when I'm really stressed out, my throat will try to close up. And I found that out because I tried to eat one day and it was hard to swallow. And it felt like the food was just stuck in my throat. And I lost even more weight then because I couldn't swallow. It hurt so bad to swallow. I had to start eating soft stuff. I couldn't eat regular food anymore. I had to start eating soft stuff like mashed potatoes or getting some protein shakes and stuff to make sure to get my protein in. Like, getting through each day just let me know how much of a blessing it was and how much God is actually trying to see me through. to let me know that he has some purpose here for me, honey, because whew, doctors still don't know what's going on to this day. One thing I will say is that I left the hospital of where that lady was at, and I found me a new primary that would actually listen to me. I had to go under a whole new hospital. He has been excellent in trying his best to figure out. I have been to ophthalmologists, cardiologists, neurologists. I've been a little bit of everywhere as far as doctors are concerned. Tests come back negative. Blood tests come back negative. Um, right now, the only true things that are really going for me are therapy and physical therapy and occupational therapy. I am now seeking outside help, according to my doctor, because it may be something that needs more research to it and everything. So your girl's whole, your girl's healed. If anything, this whole time I have been standing on Proverbs 3. The verse in there says, seek me. And I think it's verse 8. But Proverbs 3 is just beautiful overall. I stand on it because it says twice in it. The first one is seek me or seek him. He will heal. Your body is healed. Seek him and your body is healed. Every nerve, muscle, system, bone marrow, down to your bone marrow, you are healed. And then later on down in that chapter, God says, seek me and you shall have sweet sleep. I shall make your sleep sweet. So I stand on Proverbs 3. I read my scripture. If anything, I will say in this time, I have developed such a relationship with God. A lot of people don't believe that it's okay to be isolated. I think isolation is needed sometimes at one point in your life. Because in that you have to find God and you have to build that connection with him. You have to build that connection and get your physical mind to align with your spiritual mind that is already given unto you. You have to know how strong and where your faith lies in with God. And this has been such a journey. And I know that I'm beyond blessed no matter what happens. I know I'm healed. I know that I am whole. I know that I will be A1 again. And I say that I know in the spiritual realm, it's sending over to the physical realm of my body being completely whole to where I can jump, I can jive. So where I can jump, I can lift my arms freely, I can wave them freely above my head, I can lift my babies again, I can push my babies on swings, and I say this as like my nieces and nephews, but I can pick them up when they're hurt, or I can, love on them the way I want to love on them. And it sucks because I have been restricted in doing it for so long. to love my babies how I want to love them. And they are literally part of my world. It's made me understand my worth more. I had such low self-esteem, but I was building my confidence at the time before everything happened. I had some confidence, false confidence. But what I have now, I know, as well as also healing from past trauma and things, everything kind of. One thing I tell people, if you don't handle your past now, it will continuously catch up with you and it will continuously try to tear you down. If you don't handle it and seek therapy now, we have therapy on this earth for a reason. And you don't always have to stick with the therapist that you initially have. Trust, I'm on my third one right now. The first one was court ordered after everything happened, and no. The second one, I had her for a while, but then it got a bit too personal. Look, when you start using my time that I paid for on the clock to show me how you remodeling your house, it's time to go. It's time to find somebody else new. And I'm with my third one, and I love and adore her. Straight shooter. And she's really helping me. I become more self-aware. I become more in digging deep. My friends sometimes make little jokes to be like, well, not jokes, but they'll say like, oh, you're getting ready to self-reflect. It's about this time, that you start self-reflecting and looking at yourself. And I'm like, yes, because I want to continue to grow and I want to continue to heal. And it's all a mental game. And when I can conquer this mental, there's no limit to where I can go next. Because again, think about it. When you want to work out and stuff, you have to get that mental to work out. Get that mental to do things or whatever, but know when to rest as well. Know to say when you've done a good job, or you've done one thing to accomplish, and take it easy. Take that rest. This hustle culture has us to be go, 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 go. But honestly, if you take a sit back and just get to know yourself, get to know God, and take things a moment at a time, all will come to you and all will come forth and all will not settle, but all will have you prosper in the way that you need to. I'm still working on me. I am still, like I said, in physical therapy and occupational therapy. I still have a ways to go, but I am determined. Because I can't live. Again, it's been since 2019, y'all. I cannot continue to live like this, and I refuse to continue to live like this. Yes, there have been some times, and I still have them, to where I let this hold me back from going certain places, from doing certain things. But I tell myself, and I have to get past that anxiety to be like, I won't know until I try. And if I freak out while I'm there, 9 times out of 10, I usually have someone with me anyway that will help see me through. It's still a long way. It's still a ways to go. I'm not going to say a long way. It's still a ways to go. But each and every day, I'm proud of my growth. I'm proud of my healing. I am proud on the things that I know that I did myself. And the help that I had is the help of God, because He brought the right people along to help me in how I needed to be helped. Not how I want to be helped, but how I need to be helped. I have such amazing people now in my life that I wouldn't trade them for anything right now. Honestly, when you are in medical situations and stuff like this, you really get a chance to see where people say they're your friends. You really see where they are on the scale. And you realize a lot of friends are associates. Or a lot of friends were there for the fun times, and now that it's something serious, they don't know what to do. It makes you look at relationships differently. I know now dating to marry is a serious game, because you say when you get married and you say for better or for worse, and when worse happens, it's a change. And is that person really going to be to put in those vows and honor those vows and love you enough to see you through this situation? When you go through these things, when you say you want to be married and things like that, you don't think about things like that. Then next thing you know, your muscles atrophy. Next thing you know, you can't lift a baby. Cancer, MS, spinal problems, head problems. When the tough times come, or not even that, mental issues, depression, schizophrenia, anxiety, bipolar. When things happen, are you still to love that person and honor the covenant of which you have promised each other? That would be my neighbor if you could hear that car go off. But anyways, I just want to tell my story. I just want to let other people know that they are not alone, that there is an end to it all, that there is light on the other side. Again, I still have my days. I still have my moments. Again, not long ago, a couple of days ago, my throat closed up again. I had to check myself to be like, what is going on? What is stress? What is trying to attack you? What is trying to stress you out? Check yourself. And so your throat won't close up. So you can eat properly. So you don't have to worry about struggling to eat. I'm blessed nonetheless. And I know God is taking care of me. And I know for anyone else in this position, He's taking care of you. That's my say. I may break this up in more than one part because this is a lot. Any questions, concerns, please subscribe. Subscribe down below. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for just taking in my testimony. And again, thank you so much. I hope that you subscribe. There's more to come. And then some.